This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Birmingham City Council. Today is Tuesday, September 24th, 2024. This morning, our invocation will be delivered by Reverend Jerry Cunningham, Associate Pastor of New Pilgrim Baptist Church here in Birmingham. And our Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Counselor J.T. Moore. If you're willing and able, please stand.
Let us pray. Oh God Almighty, we come to you this morning with gratitude. We thank you for being a God of love who is with us right now in this very room. You will never leave us nor forsake us. Your grace has brought us safe thus far, and your grace will lead us home. We thank you for making every one of us in this room, every person we meet, every citizen of this city in your own image, with dignity and infinite worth. We thank you, O God, for these your servants, our mayor, our city council, our city staff, and all those who work to make this city such a wonderful place. We thank you for their service that they have taken on themselves to grant us this day. We pray for wisdom. We pray for strength. We pray for courage. We pray for love for one another. We pray, Heavenly Father, that we will put the interests of others above our own. Let us act with love toward one another. Let us see each neighbor who are made in your own image as one of us. Again, we thank you for our mayor, for our city council members, for our city staff, for our first responders, for our hospital staff. We give you glory, we give you praise in all that we do every day. In the name of Jesus, whose perfect love sets us free from all our fears, let us all say, Amen.
Amen.
Please salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, could we please have a roll call?
Councilmember Abbott.
Present.
Councilmember Clark.
Present.
Councilmember Moore. Councilmember Smitherman.
Good morning.
Good morning. Councilmember Tate. Councilmember Williams. Councilmember Woods. Good morning. Council President Pro Tem Alexander. Council President O'Quinn.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Councilors, we have before us the minutes from the August 20th and 27th, 2024 council meetings. If there are no additions or corrections, we'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as written.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, those minutes are approved. The minutes are not ready for the September 3rd, 10th, 17th, and 17th of 2024. This time we'll have communications from Mayor Woodfin.
Mr. President, Council, good morning to you all.
Morning.
I also want to say good morning to the public as well. These last 72 hours in our city has been overwhelming, to say the least, for a considerable amount, if not all, of our residents in our city. As a result of a mass shooting this past Saturday in the 5 Point South area, 20 plus community members were shot, including 4 killed. Many more wounded. However, they will survive. And so I first want to acknowledge that our prayers and thoughts, our heart goes out to all the victims of this mass shooting, particularly every single one of them, not just the 4 who lost their lives and the family members who have to pick up the pieces of a new normal that does not include their loved one. But in the last few days, not all, but the majority of the victims who survived, I've been able to call them. I've spoken to majority of them. And let me state that I haven't spoken to all because some are still in critical condition. But let me state that in reaching out, checking in on them, many resources are still needed. And so I'm grateful for not just our governmental partners, but I'm grateful for our local agencies and counseling organizations willing to lend a hand, because for those victims that survive, this also comes with a form of a new normal for them that includes emotional and physical trauma as they heal. But also this goes to those in that line who ran, who dropped to the ground, who lost their shoes and shoes remain on the scene, who rendered aid to their friend, who rendered aid to a stranger. This also goes out to all the first responders who responded. The Birmingham Police Department, where you see several of our officers seated here. The Birmingham Fire and Rescue Service, who transported several of them not to one but multiple hospitals. This also goes out to UAB hospital staff and St. Vincent hospital staff and Princeton hospital staff, as well as Brookwood hospital staff, where victims didn't go to one, not two, but 4 different hospitals. And our hospital staff and our hospitals do what they do best, save lives. And so I want to publicly thank the first responders. I want to thank our Birmingham Police Department. I want to thank our Birmingham Fire and Rescue Department, as well as these 4 hospitals I named, for what they did. But they also witnessed this carnage in person and up close. So there are a few things I want to talk about. One, I want to tell people what our priority and focus is. And that is 100% on finding the shooters, the perpetrators, the killers. Dedicating every available resource in partnership with our federal partners and other local partners to find out and hold the people responsible and accountable for doing this, and bring justice to these victims. And it has been announced, but it's worth repeating in this public setting, that the Federal Bureau of Investigations, FBI, has offered up to $50,000 for an arrest and conviction. And separate and apart from that, Crime Stoppers, our metro area, has offered $50,000 that leads to information that leads to an arrest. So as a citizen, you can receive up to $100,000 related to bringing and providing credible information to our police. Also want you to know this is an active investigation. We need to continue to give every available resource and all of our energy to the detectives in this case, making sure they're in a position to solve this case. And as we do that, and as we provide every available resource to the victims that have been discharged, and as they start their new normal, as we continue to think about and send all of our best energy to the victims that are still in critical condition, hospitalized, that's not enough. Hopes and prayers are not enough. And so I want to tell you I want to add some additional things of what we need to continue to do. One is related to our entertainment districts citywide, not just in the 5 Points South area. We, as in the Birmingham Police Department, and speaking with leadership, not only are committed, but will be providing additional manpower to these entertainment district areas. Also want to state that this partnership and relationship with the U.S. Attorney's Office, with the FBI, with ATF, with the U.S. Marshal's Office, Secret Service, and IRS, as well as our local partners, the DA's office, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, and other multiple agencies that I didn't name are working in collaboration to continue to engage in those who are committing some of the most heinous crimes in our city on the prevention end to find ways to take them off the streets before more carnage can be committed in our streets. I also want to talk about this whole notion of what the police can do and what the police are doing. We acknowledge we need more police officers. That's not something we run from. As a matter of fact, I want to tell people what we're doing. And we've been saying it over the course of time. One of the things we did was the budget that exists has the money to hire more police. But on the ground, we got to continue to get aggressive with our recruiting. I am happy to state that this last recruiting class has been the highest class in the last 4 years post the pandemic. These numbers rival the last class pre-pandemic, which was the first quarter of 2020. In addition to that, we've increased the pay for our police officers. In addition to that, the starting pay, that is, up to $51,000, as well as a $5,000 hiring bonus. In addition to that, thanks to you all, we've started a take-home car program for officers who live within our city limits. Again, the whole idea of providing more police presence in our communities and in our neighborhoods. And there's ample conversation, believe it or not, set aside what you hear in the public with our state legislators to figure out what we can do in partnership with Montgomery. There's no desire here to have a fight, place blame, or point fingers. We are in not only a crisis, but we find ourselves at a point where it requires all of us to work together, not necessarily for anybody to be pointing fingers at each other. So mayor and council working together, the 10 of us working together with our delegation, and our delegation working with other state officials to make sure from a law standpoint or ordinance standpoint that we get additional enforcement tools to support our police so they can be on, not necessarily always on the reaction end of things. But I do want to talk about the village. I do want to talk about the community aspect of everything we need to happen to make all of this work better for everyone. All of us play a role in making the city of Birmingham better, not just elected officials, not just the police. There is a certain segment of violence in our country. It is not isolated to cities. It is not isolated to the South. We find ourselves in the South is more prevalent, and there's a gun culture here that it's at a higher level. And then you mix in the following. People are comfortable and have created a culture where we don't get cooperation from folks who have credible information. And then those same folk who commit these heinous crimes over years, this didn't start in 2024, but over years refuse to cooperate and or won't come forward. We acknowledge a certain segment of that population are scared, and there are resources to support those folk. That includes up to relocation and forms of witness protection. But there's a higher unfortunate form of community members who refuse to cooperate. And what I want to express to this council, what I want to express to our general public and our community members is that we should not be providing any form of safe harbor, whether it's a family member, a friend, or a stranger, to anybody that is comfortable hurting people the way they did this past Saturday. That we should all collectively be keenly aware of not just the sensitivity of this, but anytime community members, innocent community members are hurt, anytime innocent community members are killed, that all of us collectively do everything we can to remove those people off the streets and arrest them because they don't care about the general public and fit into society in the form of keeping people safe. So, Mr. President and Council, I think we will continue to have the conversations about all the resources we provide with our city public tax dollars. And that is not isolated to policing. That is on the prevention and reentry efforts. That's on the conflict efforts, etc. But it's still not enough. The 10 of us alone cannot solve this issue. But we're singularly focused on public safety. We are. So, a couple more points, Mr. President and Council. Now step aside because you have a meeting. I want to talk about this operation, Flip the Switch. I attended this meeting with the chairwoman of public safety over at the gun range. Councilor Tate, I think it's been about 6 weeks, maybe. It probably was the end of July. It was the end of July, actually. Our U.S. Attorney announced a program in partnership with the city of Birmingham about how we're going to be aggressive about going on Glock switches. I want to tell you why we keep bringing this up in the public. It's because these conversion devices are a problem, and we have to find better ways to combat them. I sent Councilor Smitherman a video this morning from the demonstration that we had back then. You hear Councilor Tate talk about it a lot, that she actually got a chance to do it, but I sent her an actual Birmingham police officer putting a gun clip in a semi-automatic weapon. He only had 17 rounds. But because of this conversion device, sometimes referred to as a Glock switch, he was able to release 17 shots in right at 3 seconds. He pulled the trigger one time. 17 bullets just ripped. So now I want you to imagine if you have an assault weapon that has a higher round of magazines or more bullets in it, and you take this same conversion device, and or if you add an additional shooter next to that person. That is what we're combating, not just in the streets of Birmingham, but other urban cores in America. That one of the things that's changed is not just the style of weapon, but these devices on guns that allows these many bullets to be shot at one time. That is a very grave concern, not just for policing. It should be a grave concern for all of us, for every available tool that exists to combat this issue. The scariest part about it is that the technology continues to improve. It used to be that if you were a police officer and you saw a person and there was a gun in plain view of their car, you could say, hey, do you have a pistol permit? Well, officers, that's gone. But in that same scenario, you used to be able to say, I see this gun in plain view, and I see this switch device on it. Hey, that's a federal offense. But that's also changed because you now can put that conversion device inside a gun, and in plain view, you can't see it, and you would know it exists until that trigger is pulled. I'm simply wanting to arm other elected officials with the information I have and arm the public, the general public, with the information I have. And I wish I could play that clip for you about the officer at the gun range, because I saw it with my own eyes. Doesn't matter your intended target. That many bullets flying at one time, you can't control that gun. So, best case scenario, we fill every police position, and we got officers. This is an issue we still have to deal with on these conversion devices. Let me close by simply saying this, because there's so much more I can say, but I don't have the time to say it. I've seen this community rally together before at one of our lowest points. When Cupcake McKinney was kidnapped, I saw everyday people rolling up their sleeves, doing everything they could to help find her. Now, we eventually found her, and unfortunately, it wasn't the outcome we wanted. But in that tragic moment, during and after, I saw the best of Birmingham. It wasn't just elected officials, it wasn't just BPD, it wasn't just partnerships with the FBI, it was everyday people who stepped up. They somehow were not just dismayed, but outraged. They weren't just scared, they were motivated to do something. The media was even involved with free PSAs. Literally, you would see the media and then you would see her face in a corner. And this is one of those moments. 72 hours later, this is one of those moments where we don't have the luxury to point fingers, but at the killers and shooters. But for everyone else to continue to come together, to work together, to prevent a situation like this from happening again, to collectively work together to be on the end of solving this. I've said it and I'll keep saying it. I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it, but I believe it's solvable, but it requires all of us to work together. The one luxury the 10 of us have that other elected officials at other levels don't have is that we're nonpartisan. So who cares about partisan politics? The people that elected us only care that we solve the problem. And we want to solve it, but we need everyone's help to do it. Not just BPD, not just the council, not just the mayor, not just our state legislators, not just the federal government, but the community members who provide safe haven. We got to call them out. The people that have information, we got to continue to encourage them to come forward. The people that are scared, we got to empower them to know they will be protected and we will protect you. And this culture that's not just rooted in games and music and TV or violence, but it's rooted in our everyday conversations. We got to find it in ourselves to find a balance of conflict and solve our problems differently. Home, church, nonprofits, community, government, etc. So I want to thank you for everything you've done in leaning in the last 72 hours, Council. I want to thank the public who continues to call Crime Stoppers. I want to thank our first responders, and I want to thank you for your time this morning.
Counselor Smitherman.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I asked to speak first because this occurred in my district and what happened at Brother Bryan Park as well. And I want to say this, I feel for every one of my colleagues every time we have something like this happen in our districts, because it's a heavy burden, because nobody wants to wake up on an early Sunday morning with, texts and calls about a killing like this. But first, I want to thank our law enforcement and our first responders and even the security at Hush. You guys had a quick response and you all were able to help people. So if you are law enforcement, first responder in this chamber, will you stand up, please? Because I want to give you a round of applause for your job. And I want to give you a round of applause for your job because we don't acknowledge all that you do. And I mean that sincerely. I know the last few years have been tough for you all, but Mr. Mayor, whatever we have to do to give the resources to BPD, I'm for it. Like, we haven't had a budget yet. That is the number one priority for me. I don't want any new programs. I don't mind any programs we have existing. If it's not crime prevention, re-entry, BPD, or our kids, I don't want to see at this point. Because people are scared, and, I respect you. And, we have to empower people, but these people are scared. People are talking about, I only want to go to work, and I want to go to church and the grocery store, and that's it. And we have to make it so people feel safe again. And y'all colleagues, I'm angry. I'm angry that somebody feels that comfortable to go into a public space and just go down the line of innocent people and spray a gun. You feel that innocent. Like, this is our community. This is my city, our city. You shouldn't feel that safe to commit crime. And it's not because of the mayor or what the 9 of us are doing. You should not feel that safe to commit crime. And Mayor Wolfen, I already told you this privately, put the hammer down. I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. Do what you have to do, because these people think we're playing. You need to take that Larry Langford spirit, because if it was Larry, he would be up there at a conference call. Y'all know Larry was kind of wild. Have a cigar, blow it into the camera, and be like, mess around and find out. We're going to find you. And I need you to be, I'm going to find you. Because we have to take that mentality. I remember Chief Roberson when we were around this time of turmoil, because I feel like we go into a cycle with this violence. They went in, knocked in doors. They went to the schools. Do what you have to do, Mayor Wolfen. Do what you have to do, because what's going to happen, it's going to become a desert town again, because people are going to be too scared. I knew so many people that were in that club, people who saw the bodies on the ground, Mayor Wolfen, people who were traumatized. And by the grace of God, it wasn't that one of my friends was like, hey, Crystal, come on out. You know, you worked too hard, come out. It could have been me. It could have been all of us. It could have been us going out with our families, going out to eat, going for a drink, because we're people too. It could have been us. And I don't want it to be, we have been hit too close already with some of our own relatives with gun violence. I'm tired, Mayor Wolfen. I'm tired of people with these own personal agendas talking about, I have an idea, I need money. Go fundraise. We are not the Bank of Birmingham. We are not the Bank of Birmingham. It's only Birmingham where we have all these, or come together, support. The Restore program. They are asking for mentors. Aren't y'all asking for people to help out? They're asking for people to help out. You take your organization, go help them. Go find the time. And for the people who live in the suburbs, I don't want to hear it. You don't live here. You don't do what we have to do. If you have a problem, go donate money to some nonprofit. Go walk the streets. Go volunteer. And I'm also offended they did this because you wouldn't do it in Hoover. You wouldn't do it in Vestavia. I know you wouldn't. You slow down when you see the Vestavia police when you're speeding, don't you? You sure do. And so I want people to get to that point. And I know my colleagues, everybody will speak. I can't speak for us, but all of us take a burden. I talked to Councilor Tate. She getting off the airplane and having to deal with this. Nobody wants to hear that. And I know it's hard on Mr. President and Madam Pro Tem because they're our leadership. I know it's hard on them too. But I agree with you. The community has to step up. But Mayor Wolf, I'm asking you to put it down because also I have residents driving home and they're almost killed by bullets. Put it down, Mayor Wolfen. I talked to Madam Pro Tem for our legislative agenda. Ban Glock switches. And you know what? I don't care if I say this. Governor Ivey, you know I love you, girl. But you know, you're talking about, oh, the mayor hasn't called me, This is part of your fault. We can't even stop the people that have these guns because they don't need a permit anymore. Every town has statistics that the states with the strictest gun laws have the least amount of homicides. The average person doesn't need a Glock switch. When he sent me that video, that was a very tall, buff police officer barely holding their stance. Someone little like me, I'd be thrown 50 feet back. Madam President, we'd be thrown 50 feet back, but you shouldn't need that. And also, never mind, I can't say the other thing I want to say. No, because, you know, if you want it, please don't be out in public. Come on now, what happened? Like, that person shouldn't have even been out there in the public, putting people in danger like that. I want enforcement, Mayor Wolfen. All these I'm sorry all this long, but I'm really frustrated with this at this point. All these entertainment liquor licenses, go through all of them. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm really sick of it. I'm sick of feeling unsafe in my own city. I'm sick of it. I have a 14-year-old nephew, Mayor Wolfen. I don't have to have a child to feel like that. I don't want to feel scared that when Noah Smitherman goes out the door, that by one maybe bad incident has nothing to do with him, that he is shot. Because I promise, if something happened to Noah Smitherman, oh, it's on. I don't mean that in a threat, but I mean, I'm going to find them and I'll make sure every law is put in place to protect them. But I shouldn't have to feel like that because every child of Birmingham is our child, Mayor Wolfen. So I want to give our state legislators to ban that. I want to talk to them to their face. I see one of our state representatives. Thank you for all that you do, Travis. But I want to sit down with them. I want to sit down with Governor Ivey. I want them to see the type of guns that are on the street. I want them to see that because they have their nice little handguns, but these people on the streets, our police cannot combat with that. Now, I also want a public safety plan, but more importantly, Mayor Woodfin, do what you gotta do to bring our city back. Lock it down if you have to, ask for help, and just know you have my 100% support because it costs too much for us when someone dies. It costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. And one of my colleagues says, how much is somebody's life? There is no price to it, but we should not have to deal with funeral after funeral as politicians. So thank you, Mayor Whiffen, what you do, and Councilwoman Tate, whatever plan you have, I'm with you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilor Smithman. At this time, without objection, we will suspend the rules for a presentation from Councilor Smithman.
Well, now I can talk about something good. So we have the Honorable Deborah Montgomery. She is retiring after 16 years with our Birmingham Municipal Court. Thank you for all that you do. We know that your job is tough as being a child of a judge, from the late night studies to really making sure that our law is being enforced. We're really going to miss you on there. And so I have this resolution. I'll read some of your resolution. I won't read all of it because it's kind of long. But whereas Judge Montgomery is recognized for her high ethical standards in all work performed, is known for being dependable and accountable and skilled at resolving conflict. She sat as Judge Pro Tempore for Brighton Municipal Court and began her career with the Birmingham Municipal Court in 2008. Whereas she started as a staff attorney with legal aid in Birmingham, and she represented different indigent clients in municipal court, she eventually moved up to being a judge. She received a Bachelor's of Art and Political Science degree from Dillard University, Juris Doctorate degree from that other HU that's in Washington, D.C., Howard University, and then she began her legal career in 1986 before enlisting in the U.S. Army in 1988, where she served honorably until 1991. You were a senior attorney with the city of Birmingham from 92 to 98. As a prosecutor, you had your own solo practice from 99 to 06, and then from 08 to 2011, you were a part-time special judge, and then you were full-time from 2011 until your retirement. So whereas the retirement of Judge Montgomery from the esteemed position of municipal court judge marks the conclusion of a remarkable career characterized by dedication to public service and the betterment of our community. Her service and contributions have left an incredible mark on our community, inspiring others alike with a strong work ethic. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Birmingham, with Mayor Randall L. Woodfin concurring, pauses in its deliberations to congratulate the Honorable Deborah Montgomery upon the occasion of her retirement. We wish you all the success in the world. Present this 28th day of September. No, sorry, this not. I don't know why this is on there. I think it's because we thought, but anyway, presented today, the 24th of September, 2024, at the recommendation of Councilor Crystal N. Smitherman. And you may say a few words if you want to.
Thank you. I actually knew her when she was just a baby. Her mother and Counselor Valerie Abbott appointed me. And there were two others, and because of, a little bit of stress, I can't remember the names right now, but I know one was Miriam Witherspoon. They first appointed me, and I really did appreciate that. I worked hard in this position. I really love being a municipal court judge, and I hope whoever you appoint will love it as well. It's a good job, and you're there to help people. You want to make sure they do not graduate to the county, right? That's what you want to do. You're trying to help people. I want to thank you all. I really appreciate it, and I'm going on to my retirement. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
I want to publicly thank Judge Montgomery. I had a few years to work in her courtroom, and she ran a tight ship, a very tight ship, actually. But we're grateful for your service to our city and our citizens. Thank you so much, and happy retirement.
Yes, ma'am. Hit the mic.
Press the gray button.
Yeah,
The one
press-
closest to your
Press
right.
one of those buttons on the base.
And you were tough, and I really appreciated it. At times, I had to tell you all, bring it down a little bit. These are misdemeanors, bring it down a little bit. But thank you. Thank you for your kind words. Have a good day.
Mr. President,
Counselor Abbott?
Judge Montgomery, before you get out the door to start the second half of your life, I just want to say how much I appreciate you. You did a fabulous job. Sometimes we didn't always treat you right.
That's okay.
But you got over it real quick and just moved right ahead. And I appreciate your whole attitude, your whole demeanor. You're the example of what a good municipal judge is. And I just want to say that I appreciate that, and I hope your second half is as successful as your first half.
Thank you. And I'm going to leave it like that because it was okay. You're not going to get everything you want. And sometimes you may feel that you've been treated unfairly, but it's okay. I got everything that I was supposed to get. Again, thank you.
At this time, I'll read our statement on the conduct of business. All items designated as consent are routine and non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. All items on the consent agenda will be announced by reading the item numbers only. No separate discussion of these items will be permitted unless a council member or the mayor requests the item be removed from the consent agenda. Additionally, a citizen interested in addressing the council with respect to an item on the consent agenda designated for public hearing may request the item be removed from the consent agenda to hold the hearing on the item. Any items removed from the consent agenda will revert to its normal place on the agenda order of business. For remaining matters, all matters of permanent operation will be read and all public hearings will be announced. Mr. Clerk, could we please read through our consent agenda items?
Mr. President, they just informed me we have to move the resolution.
For UC to,
Oh, yes.
I move for
Okay,
UC.
yes.
Second.
all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I move for the resolution.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now, Mr. Clerk.
Okay, consent agenda starts on page 2 with item 1. Skip over to page 11, have items 3 and 5 on consent. Page 12, items 6, 7, and 8 are on consent. Page 13, items 9, 10, and 11 are on consent. Page 14, items 12, 13, and 14 are on consent. Page 15, items 15 and 16 are on consent. Page 16, items 17, 18, 19, and 20 are on consent. Page 17, items 21, 22, and 23 are on consent. Please note that on item 22, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth line down, that should be District 4 and not 5. So item 22. Page 18, items 24, 25, 26, and 27 are on consent. Page 19, items 28, 29, 30, and 31 are on consent. And we conclude with items 32, 33, and 34. We have one addendum item.
Okay. All right. At this time, do any members of the council wish to add or remove an item from the consent agenda?
Mr. President, can we place item number 35 on consent? If there isn't any objection, and then can we take item 13 on page 14 off consent, and item 15 on page 15 off consent as well?
Okay.
Sorry, 13 and 15. Okay.
Mr. President,
Item 13, 14, 15.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
just making sure.
No, I'm good. It's just for information because it was a really good presentation they gave yesterday in Budget and Finance both. But, so item 13 is to restore it, and then item 15 is with HUD, Office of Community Planning Development Pathways to removing obstacles to housing. If that's,
Mr. President,
Yes,
we
sir.
need to remove item 7.
That's item 7, page 12. That's being withdrawn.
that's it. Thank you.
Okay, Counselor Tate,
Mr. President, item 14 off consent.
item 14. That is page 14, item 14. Okay, others?
Mr. President?
Counselor Abbott?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a question about item 23 on page 17. Doesn't need to be removed from consent. I just wanted to know what press room supplies are and where we have a press room. Is that at Legion Field or is that at some other place? What's a press room?
Press room supplies are actually in the basement and print shop of this building.
Oh, a printing press. Okay, I was thinking about the other kind of press.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, I'm fine. I just wanted to know what it was.
Okay, Counselor Tate, you have
And
other-
item 12, Mr. President.
item 12. Okay, that's also page 14, item 12. Okay. Counselor Williams,
Can we, take off, well, maybe I missed it. My packet didn't have the contract for item 29, so I was wondering what.
yeah, we can take that one off. I also have that one marked. Okay. Then I would also like to add item 20 on page 16. Take it off of consent, item 20, page 16. Okay. We have one public hearing item, item number 1. This is all of our properties with nuisances. Do any members of the public wish to remove item 1 from the consent agenda? All right, seeing none, we are ready for a motion on the consent agenda.
I move approval.
Counselor Abbott and Counselor Smitherman.
All right?
All right, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, the consent agenda is approved. First item, Mr. Clerk.
Should be item 2. An ordinance approving and authorizing the mayor to execute a first amended and restated ground lease with the Veranda at Greymount School LLP, under which the ground lease between the city of Birmingham and Leaser and Veranda at Graymont School LLC as leasing dated September the 6th, 2024, under which the city agreed to lease the former Graymont School property located at 308th Avenue West to Veranda at Graymont School LLC for a term of 30 years for rent in the amount of $1 per year. And the property should be redeveloped to create 101 affordable rental housing units, 101 affordable rental housing units for senior citizens, and to house an early learning center. Will be amended and restated to change the leasee to Veranda at Graymont School LP to increase the term of the ground lease to 75 years and to make other substantive changes. This is second reading for this item.
Move the item. All right. Any discussion on this? Okay. I just did want to make one comment on this. Mr. Mayor, as you're aware, when we had a change in leadership, we reorganized the council committees and took the several committees and combined them into a new committee that we're calling the Community Development Committee. I just want to state that, you know, when these types of community development items are presented, please at least give the chair of that committee the opportunity to decide whether or not he wants to come before his committee. So just wanted to make that request. So,
Yes, sir.
all right.
Thank you, Mr.
Council
President.
Moore. Yep, okay. Ms. Clerk, believe we have a motion on this item?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're ready for the vote.
Okay. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
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 All opposed?
All right, that item is approved.
All right, one second here.
All right,
Give me one
next
second.
item is item number 4, I believe.
Yes, sir. Give me 1 second to record that. Okay, item 4, an ordinance approving and authorizing the mayor to execute an interlocal agreement with Jefferson County, Alabama to provide for improvements to portions of Shady Grove Road located in the city of Birmingham as part of the Jefferson County resurfacing project to include milling, resurfacing, and other necessary repairs to the road bed, and the placement of final paved surface with the city's share of the cost to be $102,334.06 for the portion of the roadway located in the city of Birmingham. This is the first reading of this item, so I need UC to entertain it today.
Second.
Okay, Councilor Williams, Councilor Smitherman, Councilmember Abbott,
Aye.
Councilmember Clark. Aye. Councilmember Moore. Aye. Councilmember Smitherman.
Aye.
Councilmember Tate. Aye. Councilmember Williams. Aye. Councilmember Woods is absent. Councilmember Pro Tem Alexander.
Aye.
Council President O'Quinn.
Aye.
All right, motion on the item, please.
I move approval.
Second.
Okay, item is before you.
Okay, any discussion on this item? Seeing none, we're ready for the vote.
Okay. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, that item is approved.
All right,
Next item is item number 12.
7 is withdrawn, we go to 12. Item 12, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute and deliver an agreement between the city and Mercy Deliverance Ministries in an amount not to exceed $45,000, under which Mercy Deliverance Ministries will provide services to the city by providing care of the poor and needy of Birmingham through the implementation of a mobile grocery initiative, which provides free food boxes that contain healthy, fresh meals multiple times per week for families to improve food security for qualifying residents in Birmingham's District 9 communities. Motion, please.
I move approval.
All right, Ms. Before you.
All right, Councilor Tate?
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't know if Ms. Vines is here, Tony. I'm gonna have her come up and talk about, what this means for District 9 for informational purposes.
Good morning.
Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you all for the opportunity to be here. Tony Vines, founder and president of Mercy Deliverance Ministries, where the love of God makes a difference. So that's important simply because of all of the issues that we've previously discussed. Praying for each and every one of you, and will continue to do so, citizens of Birmingham, and asking for discernment and wisdom as you move forward in any resolutions and programs to address the safety of the city. With that being said, Mercy Lives Ministries currently is the only organization in Birmingham that hosts 2 free food distributions. We are partnering with Pastor Darrell White and the congregation of Forward Christian Center, and we have been feeding anywhere from 600 to 800 people a month for the past 4 years. While we have been constructing and refurbishing the school bus, and we have turned it into a completely full-service mobile grocery store. We are planning to launch those services in October, and the plan is to continue our services in District 9, where God sent us 5 years ago. Like I said, services will start in October, and we don't have that data completely yet to tell you exactly how many families we'll be serving. But with that being the case, services will occur 3 days a week, Tuesday through Thursday, and the basis and structure of that particular program, grants and donations, public donations and funds, will keep prices at wholesale and cover tax for those citizens that qualify for free and reduced lunch and receive food stamps. Anyone can shop the bus. Retail customers will be able to purchase at wholesale at a cost of wholesale, maybe 1% to 3% more, to generate some revenue. In addition to those grocery services, again, we currently don't give anything away that we wouldn't buy. I mean, we wouldn't buy ourselves personally. So we will be offering quality products, proteins, and anything you yourself, you personally will want to buy from us if you actually see the facility and the vehicle itself. We will start our medical initiative on the bus. We will donate and give away those products that are not currently people aren't able to purchase for their SNAP benefits. From feminine products, we'll give those away for every menstruating female in the home, supply of those once a month. Dental supplies will be given away. Donations received from the public as well as dental offices. People typically don't lose their teeth because of teeth care. If you can't buy food, you're not buying dental floss. So I'm a nurse by profession. Oral inflammation leads to systemic inflammation. And then we will also be giving away diapers and wipes, again, in an attempt to cover those products that are not covered with SNAP benefits. Our SNAP application is pending. Of course, you know that you can't submit that until 30 days prior to opening. So with that being the case, it's been a long journey. I appreciate Council Tate and her faith in the program, and we're just excited. I think all of you should receive an invite to our open house on Thursday, and it is worth the visit to come see it. I can tell you all day long that it is a full-service grocery store. I designed it, but until I stepped in it, I was blown away. So it's just something to see. So we're excited for the opportunity, and again, thank you. But does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Tony. I'm appreciative of, what you started 4 years ago in District 9 and continuing to do in District 9. So this is going to be, a really good game changer for those in the district. And so I'm very appreciative of what you're doing and the vision that God has given you. I've had an opportunity to see the bus by video, and I will share it with you all, but I would definitely, tell my colleagues to really, reach out to Ms. Vines to have her service your district as well. Thank you, Tony.
I will add one more thing. God said this was a prototype. I already have the next version of this designed, waiting on God to say go. So just with that being said, it is not a quick fix. God said we were preparing for what's to come, but not what's necessarily here, although the services are needed today. Again, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Ms. Clerk, we're ready for the vote.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right. Item 12 is approved. Item 13, please.
Item 13, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute and deliver an agreement with the Jefferson County Family Resource Center, under which Restore will offer support services to at least 120 court-involved youth ages 16 to 19 and their families. The objective is to reduce criminal activity involving young people residing in the city through proactive, strength-based, trauma-informed mental health services and developmentally appropriate case management services geared to help build on participants' potential for success. The term of the agreement is for 1 year, and the funding amount is $225,000.
I move approval.
It's been motioned and second. Any questions on this item? Councilor Smith?
Mr. President, Ms. Carey gave a great presentation to Councilor Abbott and I yesterday at Budget and Finance. And if you could just give a brief presentation as well. In the folder are some really great statistics, and she can talk about that. And she's broken it down by district, and I thought that was really good.
Thank you so much, Councilor Smitherman, and I would also like to thank the Honorable Mayor Woodfin for being here and for Councilor Tate and all of y'all's support as we've been moving into almost 2 years in this role. I would also like to thank Uche Bean and Don Mosley, as well as Presiding Judge Hunt Hilliard. Without her support at Family Court, this would be almost impossible. So, in the first slide that you will see, second slide, sorry. Perfect. The Restore program was launched in March 2023. In that 18 months, we have seen an 80% reduction in youth up to age 22 charged with murder. 80%. We have also seen a 61% reduction in victims age 13 to 22 since March 2013. I'm sorry, since March 2023. On slide 3, what you will see is how we did it. We told the city that we would serve 120 youth. We ended up serving 249. 118 of those were community referrals, where their friends, our participants would bring their little brothers, their friends. Hey, come join this workshop. We have workshops twice a week on Tuesday and Thursday. I believe that the city is familiar with the National Institute of Criminal Justice Reform. We'll get to that in a second. But one of the things that they said was most effective in reentry programs and making sure they are efficient and effective was making 4 to 6 contacts a week with our kids, and that is what we do. 2 of those are through workshop with the children, and then 2 of those are through workshop with the custodian and the parent to ensure that we know what is going on with the home. So of all of those, since, and this is my fault, data is from October 1, 2024 to date. That should be October 1, 2023 to date in the fiscal year. However, we were able to make 1,393 contacts with clients. We were able to provide 703 services to the participants and their families. You will see a breakdown on the next slide of just how many services we provided. We were able to get 13 kids registered to vote. Kids, I say kids, they're now 18, so they are young adults. Registered to vote, so we are working on ensuring that they are empowered and that they have a voice in their city as well. We have provided 53 participants with educational assistance to get them back into school or to get them into a non-traditional program. We have provided 35 participants with getting jobs. Now, in order to do all of that, we also have to get them their essential documents, which means birth certificate, social security card, so you can get a state ID, so that you are able to either enroll in a non-traditional program or you are able to get a job. On the next slide, I think is the most powerful. 87% of our youth that we serve are in the city of Birmingham. I have broken it down by districts. In February, when we presented in front of the City Council, we gave you the amount of clients that you see in your district. Those numbers have been increased, but that is not a bad thing. What this means is our youth are engaged. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, they're working with us. They're off the streets. They're busy. They're learning the HEAT curriculum. They are learning Strengthening Families curriculum. They are learning about how to function in our world. What you will also see is our top 3 zip codes right now is 35215, which is actually very difficult, especially for y'all who are counselors in that area, because it is so spread out. There are kids from, Irwin, Centerpoint, Smith, Huffman, Hueytown, Irwin Middle School. So that is by far the highest zip code that we serve. But the second one is 35206, and the next is 35211. What I will then skip to is slide number 8. And slide number 8, the National Institute for Criminal Justice Reform, I believe some of y'all have met with them. We certainly did meet with them in August. And when the mayor is talking about a public safety plan, they were extremely enlightening. And what they did for us was they really validated what we were doing on 2 counts. The first count was a recent 18-month point-in-time study of Birmingham, which is approximately the same amount of time that the Restore program has been around. The age of murder victims and perpetrators is now averaged between 30 and 32 years old. That means that, again, back to our 80% reduction in youth violence, youth committing murders, that is huge. Also, again, back to their successful reentry requires almost daily contact with our participants. My entire team is here today. Mr. Williams, Ms. Littleton, Mr. Owens, and Ms. Spencer. And they spend their days and nights making sure these clients are absolutely covered. Our biggest issue now is, just as the mayor was saying, even though it is not our youth being murdered or pulling the trigger necessarily, every single one of them has suffered trauma and loss. And what we are trying to do now is pivot and figure out how to address that. We know that counselors are backed up. We know that it is impossible to get immediate service. So what we are trying to do as an agency is hire an LPC, licensed professional counselor, or work with our interns to make sure that we have professional counselor interns. We have 2 social workers on staff too, but we are really trying hard to deal with the trauma that these kids are really facing. Losing 2 and 3 family members in a year as a 15 and 16, 17-year-old is intense, and it's a lot. But by focusing on them and having day-to-day contact, we are able to gauge their state of mind and where they are, and to the best of their ability, we are able to be a stopgap to really effectively make sure they are not talking about retaliation, that they are talking about how to articulate their feelings. A lot of these children don't have a lot of family support. We also have a lot of young men who have children of their own. So we're focusing on not only the trauma behind losing your friends and your family, but also what it is to parent when you have not necessarily been parented, and how to show your kids what it is to be a father. So at this point, the rest of it that y'all have in front of you, if you have any questions, I am glad to answer them. You are free, and anybody who comes into family court, Restore or not, gets a blue folder. In the blue folder on the left-hand side are the services we offer. On the right-hand side, we know that families in family court are generally in crisis. It's not a good day. So we have all sorts of resources there. So when they do get home, they are in a mindset: affordable housing, how to reach out to counselors and at least get on the list, how to get a primary care physician, where to get food. So that is what I have. Thank you, Counselor Smitherman, for allowing me the opportunity to present in front of you. And if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Any questions?
Mr. President, something I thought was really significant, we talked about this in Budget and Finance, about the community needs assessment for 11 to 15-year-olds. Let's see, they said, how do you describe violence in your community? It's everywhere. Parents are not talking to their kids, repeated nonstop gun violence. What do you think causes violence? Guns and people with guns. Disrespect. You cannot avoid violence. What do you think could prevent violence in your community? Mayor Wolfen isn't making up what he's been saying, because these kids are saying this. They make guns where you do not have to have a permit, and anyone can get a gun. They took away the license, and anyone can get one. They should require a license again. Background checks. Put the permit thing back in place. Therapy. Have people talk about how they are feeling. What does survival look like? Stay in the house, minding your own business. And the worst one for me, getting out of Birmingham. These are 11 and 14-year-olds that feel this way. They shouldn't feel this way. And I also want to give this to our state representatives because this really breaks my heart hearing that. But I thank you all for what you do. I thank my colleagues for supporting issues like this and Mayor Woodfin. And any support that you need, we're here for you. And if you need an increase in funding and, you know, what that looks like and Mayor Woodfin agrees, then you have my support fully.
Thank you, Counselor Smitherman.
Counselor Tate.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I heard you mention, something about counseling. Do want to make a note. How you doing, Judge Hunt? Hear you. That, you can reach out to Dr. Nadia Richardson, the Black Women's Mental Health Institute. We have invested, money with her team to offer free counseling because I see that you're doing services in all 9 districts. So I would definitely use that resource. And one of the things that I really wanted to ask you, and I know we talked about this when you guys came before us to present, have you guys incorporated the restorative justice component into the Restore program? And if not, we need to give you some connections where you can connect that piece, because I think that piece is going to be very crucial doing any type of transformational work. You gotta incorporate this restorative piece in that. Healing circles, train the trainer, that is super important when we are trying to get people on the right track, because people that have done things to harm people, they need to be healed. So that behavior will not continue to spin out into community. So if you have not done that, I would definitely give you some practitioners' names that you can be in contact with. I definitely would like to see that piece, because you guys talked about that when you were here, that you would incorporate, you know, that restorative component into this work. So good job that you all are doing. And definitely be seeking, you know, state and county resources to fuel this program for the expansion, to build your capacity, because this work is about building capacity and pouring into the right people to pour into people, and making sure that we vetting individuals that have really transformed their lives to do this work.
Thank you, ma'am.
Counselor Abbott.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, I just wanted to say that yesterday at Budget and Finance, we were incredibly impressed with your program. And I was going through it last night, all the plethora of information that you provided in your folder. And there's information in here that we've been looking for, like this Jefferson County Help Resources. I mean, I'm going to laminate it and put it up on my wall because, you know, you're always having people call who need something and you don't know where to tell them to go to get it. So, you know, some of this information, housing authorities and things like that, to have this information at your fingertips. I mean, you've actually provided us with information we need, and that's on top of what you're doing for the young people. So I really appreciate what you do, and I didn't know about it before. I'd heard the name, and it just kind of got past me. So, Mr. Mayor, I think it'd be great if we found some more money to give them, but I know we're always telling you that. We used to ask Mayor Kincaid to look under his desk and, you know, see if there was find some funding, you know, for people. But this is a program that apparently is really reaping a huge benefit for the city of Birmingham. So anyway, I was impressed, and I just wanted to thank you for all the great information.
Thank you, Counselor Abbott. And let me just say that this is not a Carrie thing. This is my team is here, and if they could all stand up, and if y'all would give me the courtesy of allowing them to please stand up, because they do this work day in and day out. Thank you. And I appreciate your time Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, do have one question. So you have a slide in here that has best practices recommended for effective reentry, and this is coming from the National Institute for Criminal Justice Reform.
Yes, sir.
And it says, a recent 18-month point-in-time study of Birmingham revealed the average current age of murder victims and perpetrators is between 30 to 32 years old. So the Restore program is focusing on youth age 16 to 19. My question is there an equivalent program that's focusing on, the average age of 30 to 32 victims and perpetrators?
So I don't really have an answer to that. My history is in family court. My history is a DHR lawyer. So that's out of my lane. However, anything that I've met with the representatives from NICJR, and I would be glad to help in any way possible to show them how our program has worked and how we have maintained contact with our people. And I will also say, as a resource center in general, nothing that we give you is free. It is a hand up, not a hand out. So when we're giving you these services, we're asking you to come work our food box distributions. One, that's giving you back involved in the community in a positive way, but two, that's giving you access to food. So if those are things that they want to see happen, and that gives you 2 additional contacts with your clients, however we can help formulate that safety plan, that public safety plan with the Public Safety Committee or with Mayor Woodfin, we would be glad to help. That's just not my lane.
Okay, thank you. All right, I believe we're ready for the vote. Counselor Tate.
Yes, I think, what Carrie's saying, it's a way to measure that, when you look at the, Offender Alumni Association, who is our HVIP partner. They have violent interrupters who work with that category. So building out the expansion of these organizations where we can get outreach and a street team of outreach workers and violent interrupters on the street so that they can incorporate this age component that you're speaking of, so that will cover that and couple with, what they're doing. So really reentry starts at the beginning of any arrest. It's an inside-outside game where you go inside to prepare the people to come on the outside and continue the preventive measures of those on the outside and taking them and transforming their lives where they can be, the credible messengers and keep building out the expansion, of a street team. Just going to New York and graduating on Friday from the Community Violence Intervention Leadership Academy, 31 amazing people, 22 different cities, and just having to go into different areas and watching how people are really transforming, community, and how violent interrupters, street out team, hospital base, all of this is a complementary to law enforcement. And so to even be able to talk to, people in these areas and to understand, what is going on. I've said this and I'm going to keep saying this. We got to move as a unit, as a collective, and work together. The framework is here. We got to work the framework. It's here. We just got to work it. Put these political differences aside, come together as a collective, and pour in all the resources, not just from the city, the county, the state. We have been able to tap into the federal, for those different grants. So, the framework is here. We got to work it. I've been to Newark. I've loved what they're doing there. And we can turn Birmingham around and stand Birmingham up, and I just really believe that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Counselor Tate. Right, now we're ready for the vote.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, that item is approved. Thank you very much. Item 14.
Item 14,
Thank you.
a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute and deliver an agreement between the city of Birmingham and the Salvation Army in the amount not to exceed $50,000, under which the Salvation Army will provide services to the city of Birmingham by implementing the Salvation Army's core soft skills curriculum, along with other supporting components, including an assessment and screening process, excuse me, industry customized training, GED remediation, case management, career coaching, and ongoing retention and advancement support to enable entry-level workers to demonstrate their readiness to successfully enter the workplace and to retain and advance in their positions.
I move
Motion, please.
approval.
All right. It's been motioned properly seconded. Any discussion on this item? Councilor Tate?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. John Stamps and Ms. Jahan Quinn is here. I'm super excited about this item because the Salvation Army is just coming down the stairs from my house and walking across the street. So they're doing some incredible things over there with their CDL program that Ms. Quinn has been able to launch and just don't have, you know, the resources to serve as many applicants as they have and just see the expansion, you know, that they're doing over there. Thank you, Mr. Stamps.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Mayor. Good morning to the council members. Thank you for having us here today. My name is John Stamps. I'm the Director of Operations for the Salvation Army here in Birmingham. With me today, I have Ms. Jahan Quinn. She's the Director of our Education and Workforce Development Center. Do send regrets for Major Lyle, who is our area commander, but he is out of town today at another event and could not make it this morning. So, first and foremost, I'd like to say just thank you for the opportunity to be able to serve our citizens, to be able to train our citizens for good paying jobs. We truly appreciate that opportunity. We truly appreciate Councilwoman Tate for coming over to us as we were having one of those busy sessions and trying to enroll CDL, Class A CDL truck drivers to receive training. So for that, we are truly grateful and thank you for the opportunity again. The Salvation Army Education Workforce Development Center as a whole services people that are from age 18 to 99. We will reach people where they are, whether that is for basic learning how to read, to a GED, to a high school diploma option, to junior college certifications, as well as skill certifications to help them advance to their next level. So we do all of that through volunteers. We do all that through agencies that we work with in the community, and we're just happy to be able to serve. Our most prized course that we have right now is our Class A CDL truck driver. We've graduated a total of 80 truck drivers that are here driving throughout the nation. So you've had people that have gone from making $8 an hour to $65,000, $75,000 a year. So it is truly a life-changing undertaking for those individuals that come in and take the classes. And we go over everything with them from budgeting to how to manage your money. Once you start managing that money, we have different banks that come in and show people how to set up a bank account. What do you do to save? How do you save money? And then we also have an entrepreneurship program in which we involve people in being small business owners. So for all of that, we're here just to be able to serve the people in our community. We want to thank you again for the opportunity, and we're open for any questions.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I do have one question.
Councilor Abbott?
Who is eligible to come to your programs? Is it just anyone who shows up? I know you said you meet people where they are, so anyone can come.
You are absolutely correct. Anyone can come from the age 18 to 99. We focus on adult learners, and anyone can come up. Now, we do have to be frank. Some people come up with kind of out of the blue expectations. And so if you only have the ability to read on a third grade level, then we have to work with you from that point to get you to the opportunity to where you can get into the Class A CDL class, because there is a certain type of literacy that goes along with that, as well as with the other trainings. So we meet them where they are, help them with their goals, set their goals, and then advance them from there.
Good, thank you.
Yes. All right. Thank you for your work. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we're ready for the vote.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, that item is approved.
Thank you.
Next item is number 15.
Item 15, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents required for the city to complete a grant with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Office of Community Planning and Development Pathways to remove obstacles to housing in an amount up to $7 million to identify and remove barriers to affordable housing production and preservation with no matching funds due from the city, and authorize the mayor to take any and all actions and execute such documents as are appropriate and necessary to accept and spend the grant funds on behalf of the city in accordance with the grant documents.
Councilor Smitherman and Tate. Is there any discussion on this item?
If we could just get a little bit more information.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. President, yes, ma'am, to Councilor Smitherman's request to get more information. At this time, we'll have Corey Stallworth of Community Development come in and provide some more detail related to this item before you.
Good morning. Corey Stallworth. I serve as Senior Deputy Director of Community Development. And so we're excited about this opportunity to apply for the Pro Housing Grant, which is really to address any obstacles related to housing, and that could be a myriad of obstacles, all the way from gap financing to technical assistance, as well as process improvement, our internal processes to support developers. And so the grant opportunity is $7 million, is the ceiling award. The deadline for the grant is October the 15th, and we have identified a couple of areas in which we could spend the funding. If you recall, we did apply for this grant a couple of months ago. We weren't successful, and we had a great debrief with HUD about areas that we could improve upon, and they really wanted to see more specific projects that we could allocate the funding to, and so we have since identified that. And just a high-level overview of those components that we would like to fund using this grant is the Magic City Community Champions Program, which was launched earlier this year to support community development corporations so that we can have more organizations champion housing across our various districts. Also, the funding will support the Magic City Affordable Housing Trust that we would like to establish, which we're still seeking legislation approval for that. Our Home for All program, which is the micro shelters. This will be gap financing to help with the implementation of the construction. Also, lastly, the Affordable Housing Fast Lane, which will be geared towards developers and helping them navigate through our various processes such as zoning requirements, subdivision, and permitting. A lot of times our developers kind of get hung up in those program processes, and so this funding will help us to provide technical assistance to them. And so that's a high-level overview of how we're going to put together our proposal to respond to this opportunity. Are there any questions?
Councilor Clark, let's just go down the dais.
Thank you. Naturally, I support this, and I'm glad you all got some feedback and can go again since we have so many critical needs in the housing area. Something I'm really interested in, I don't know if it can be a part of this grant, but perhaps it can be a resource for some development in this area. You know, as we adopt the neighborhood, urban neighborhood zoning classification we've recently created and look to stimulate more infill development, I'm really interested in us having a design pattern book so that developers can have good contextual infill designs and some idea of what it would cost to build those designs, sort of pre-approved designs and plans that we can provide to people who are seeking to do infill. And then maybe within that pattern book, something on green and resilient designs, because as we've seen, like in North Titusville, you know, those houses, the operating cost is so low, people's energy bills are so low, and the indoor air quality is so high. So, you know, I've lived in old drafty houses, you know, where I'm not sure I feel like the indoor air quality is great, but I just, I dream of living in a energy efficient house, a net zero house, or, I know we're not going that far, but if we could just be more thoughtful into what people are putting back into our neighborhoods. And design can really, the margins are already really thin for affordable housing. So if we could take that design question out of their calculus and provide some pre-approved designs that would fit well into our neighborhoods, I think that would be an area to maybe look at providing some help. I love the fast lane because I feel like when it's commercial and industrial development, people have architects and engineers. When it's infill development in neighborhoods, it's just a nonprofit or somebody, trying to make every dollar work. And so they're doing all the permitting and, they're not as versed in the zoning regs because they're not professionally trained in that. So I think anything we can do to expedite and make that not onerous is gonna go far for us. My only concern with the language here is that it was the same concern I had with the last resolutions we passed. It authorizes the mayor to apply for the funds, but it also authorizes the mayor to take all actions to accept and expend the grant funds. And so, I would rather us, you come back once you've received the grant so that we authorize, that we talk about, how it's going to be expended. And so I just think that second part should come out. And I just see a pattern of us not only authorizing, the application, but also any and all actions to accept and expend. And I think that's going a little far at this juncture to grant all of that authority. So I would like to recommend that we just, delete everything after the second, after the first authorization, that everything that comes and says, and authorizing the mayor to take any and all actions to execute such documents as are appropriate and necessary to accept and expend the grant funds on behalf of the city in accordance. I just think that last part should come out. I don't really know how to do that, propose an amendment.
Yeah. So is that your motion?
Is that a motion? Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. President, we just need the actual resolution, need to show where you want to do that in the resolution, not
Okay.
the synopsis on the agenda, because we're amending the resolution.
Well, the resolution's not attached.
Oh.
I didn't have the whole thing. Okay. All right.
You can write on it.
I think we can, Council Clark, let me just make a suggestion. Can we just strike the words "and expend"? Would that meet what you're suggesting,
Okay,
if we just strike those two words?
sure.
Okay,
I think so.
all right, so
I'll get it back.
her motion is to move the resolution,
different.
but strike the words "and expend." And
Okay. See, the problem is, we gotta make
They
the
have a
change.
different version
So I have the
than the
resolution in front of me.
synopsis.
Okay.
So
Let me look at it again.
Why don't we have the resolution?
Yeah, because I looked for the resolution in our packet, but I did not see it, so.
synopsis kind of should have encapsulated, because it was so short, the resolution is really short, that's why you didn't have it.
Mr. President,
Chief,
so per staff, we need the authority to spend in the resolution, but each individual item still has to come back to the council for approval. But per staff, we need that in the actual resolution. We need the authority to spend in the resolution.
Okay.
can you explain why that's required?
Come on, Mr. Datcher. Mr. Kelvin Datcher is going to come up and explain.
Good morning, y'all. Kelvin Datcher, Deputy Director of Community Development. All the items still have to come back to the council, so regardless of what this resolution says, if we won the grant, we couldn't take any individual action on any contracts or any items until they came back to you guys individually anyway. But the authority, they're looking for the authority for the mayor to execute the grant in addition to apply for the grant in the actual grant application. So that's why they always have both the intent to apply and execute together. But of course, according to, how our protocols are here, he still can't execute those individual items without council approval.
So just to clarify, Mr. Datcher, is it a requirement of the granting agency that the mayor have the authority to actually expend the funds as a prerequisite to?
It is whoever the applicant is, right? If it was a nonprofit, it'd be the CEO of the nonprofit, right? It's just whoever signs the grant has to have the authority to spend the grant. Our items require us, of course, to come back so that anything that we did do with you all, if we did a contract with any agency or whatever, those individual contracts still have to come back for council consideration, explanation, and approval.
Councilor Clark.
I just have a question of the city attorney. So granting this authorization does not supersede any other laws as it relates to the spending requirements? Are we?
That is correct. And what Mr. Datcher stated, you all will have to authorize next steps once that funding comes in.
Okay.
Point of order, is the motion being?
So I
moved
will
or
withdraw my motion to amend the language in the resolution, but I would like to see the requirement in writing. You can just show me some other time. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we're back to the original motion on the item. That's been moved and seconded. Any additional comments? Seeing none, Ms. Clerk, we're ready to vote.
Okay. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, now to item 20. That last item is approved. Item 20, please.
Item 20, a resolution accepting the lump sum proposal of Engle Demolition and Salvage, Adamsville, Alabama, in the amount of $99,500 for emergency demolition located at 812th Street North at Birmingham, and authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with said Engle Demolition and Salvage is substantially the form contained within the proposal documents. And in accordance with said proposal, providing that the total compensation payable under the contract not exceed the appropriation. Motion, please.
Move the item.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded. I remove this item from the consent agenda. And if possible, Chief, I would like Mr. Terry Oglesby to explain to us what circumstances constitute the need for an emergency demolition. And the lens that I'm looking through is that we've had several structures that were damaged in a fire and have allowed to remain standing even when they're in close proximity to other occupied structures. So I would just like to understand what specific measures differentiate this situation from those other situations.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Actually, Director Denise Bell is going to come in, and she's going to be joined by Mr. Michael Glover, if Ms. Denise can answer that, but if she needs support, Mr. Michael Glover, who's our Chief Condemnation and Demolition Coordinator, and Ms. Katrina Thomas will assist if she needs support. Ms. Denise.
Okay, good morning. Denise Bell serves as the Director of Capital Projects. In this case, any property that is at risk of collapsing that impacts the right-of-way gives us the authority to declare an emergency. So planning, engineering, permits brought it to our attention.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you the two examples that I'm aware of that were similar situations. So number one is the Powell School. any person walking by on the sidewalk, you know, can see that a portion of that structure has collapsed. Yet, you know, and we've heard from folks at the Dannon Project who have, you know, repeatedly inquired about, you know, the safety of the structure. The other one is, and this building has since been acquired by the adjacent property owner and demolished by the new property owner, but it was the building near the corner of 14th Street and First Avenue North between the gas station and EBSCO's offices. So, you know, that building also was damaged by fire. And so I'm sort of looking for, you know, the specific variables that make this situation different from those.
Good morning. My name is Michael Glover. I serve as Chief Condemnation Demolition Coordinator. The building that you're referring to on 14th Street, and the same as this building. Initially, we posted the building for condemnation. Since posting, the structure changed, meaning both structures collapsed inwardly. So therefore, that warranted the emergency demolition. So some buildings, they have collapsed, but if there's no danger to right-of-way and it's already down, completely down, then it would just be a demolition, meaning going through the condemnation process. But in these two buildings, in the one you're referring to, the structure changed after we posted it for condemnation. And this building here that's on council, on the agenda today, we had bricks fall on the right-of-way. We've taken bids for it. It's been a struggle to get contractors that actually want to demolish this building due to the liability of being that close to the school. So to answer your question, initial inspection or initial condemnation, the building just be a nuisance. But if the structure changes since that time, then that's why this one and the one you're referring to has been deemed emergency.
Okay. Follow-up question is, will a lien be placed on the property at this dollar amount?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any additional questions, Council Williams?
Mine's more of a comment. I just wanted to thank Ms. Bell and all the work that her department does. I know that you get a lot thrown at you, and you've done an absolutely amazing job. So thank you for everything that you and your entire team do.
All right. Ms. Clerk, we're ready for the vote.
Okay, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
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 All opposed?
Okay, that item is approved.
Two out.
Next item is item 29.
Okay, Smith is out too, I'm sorry. All right, item 29, a resolution approving payment to Safeware Incorporated, Lanham, Maryland, 20706 in the amount not to exceed $192,059.45 for the purchase of 10 open gate weapon detection systems with related parts and accessories for the City of Birmingham Mayor's Office in accordance with the Omni Partners Purchasing Cooperative Contract number 44008468.
All right, it's been motioned and seconded. Council Williams?
Yeah, I took this off. I was confused about exactly what was going on here since we didn't have a contract in our packet, but those questions have been clarified just for public consumption. The item we're purchasing are the appropriate types of metal detectors that we need to host events, and specifically at Legion Field. And then the second thing about the contract is it was purchased through the governmental purchasing agreement that is already in place, so we didn't have to bid it out and all that kind of stuff. So those were my questions, and they were answered.
Okay, so that at least partially answers my question, which was where do we intend to use these?
Legion Field.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you. Any additional questions? All right, we're ready for the vote.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
All right, that item is approved. And that completes our agenda items. So we'll go to old and new business. Our Counselor Woods.
All right, good morning. A couple announcements here. The annual Fraud Prevention Summit will be held this Friday, September 27th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. That will be held at the East Pinson Valley Rec Center. Really appreciate the Sun Valley neighborhood for their leadership in putting this together year in and year out. They have a lot of really good speakers coming in, and it's been a really big impact, but with the number of scams and oftentimes seniors in our community being taken advantage of, it's more important than ever to really be aware of these scams and how they operate and how you can protect yourself. And come out. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Counsel Williams.
All right, I'm going to give Counselor Tate's announcements for District 9. Fountain Heights Neighborhood Association will be meeting September the 24th at 6 p.m. at Fountain Heights Rec Center. Dolomite Neighborhood Association will be held tonight, September the 24th, via conference call, 6 p.m. The call-in number is 720-843-2669, and the access code is 3789426. Enon Ridge will be held Thursday, September the 26th, 2024, via conference call at 6. That number is 312-626-6799. That meeting ID is 477-3429045, and that will be also in person at New Salem Baptist Church. The next public safety meeting will be held on Tuesday, October the 8th at 1 p.m. in the council chambers. Please submit agenda items via email by Wednesday, October the 2nd, no later than 12 noon. You can do so with Ms. Tate's staff, which is Ms. Collins or Mr. Stanley. If you have questions or concerns, please feel free to contact her office at extension 2302. And for District 2, Crestline Neighborhood Meeting is this Thursday, September the 26th at 6 o'clock at Hope Church. This will be a widely attended meeting, as I know that there's a developer seeking a rezoning in the neighborhood, and I know there's been lots of chatter online about it. So if you have an opinion, if you live in Crestline, I would attend the neighborhood meeting and not just give your opinion on Facebook. The next scheduled Economic Development Tourism Committee meeting will be October the 1st. If you'll get your submissions into India Bailey by Thursday, September the 26th, that will be appreciated. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Pro Tem Alexander.
Thank you, Mr. President. These are announcements for District 7. Let me start by offering condolences to the family of the former Alabama State Senator Priscilla Dunn. We were on the dais last week when we learned of her passing, and so we weren't able to get that in front of the council. But I did attend her funeral. She had a very illustrious, long career serving as both a representative and a senator for the area that I live in, mainly Bessemer Cutoff. So just really wanted to extend sympathy to Grover Dunn, his daughter, and the rest of their family. So thank you. On Tuesday, bulk trash and brush pickup is scheduled for Germania Park South. On Wednesday, bulk trash and brush pickup is scheduled for Powderly. That's on the 25th. Also on September 25th, I would like to acknowledge my son's birthday. So Gregory will be turning 41 or 42, I can't remember. But anyway, happy birthday, Gregory. Love you much. On Thursday, September 26th, we're very excited, part of the Winona High School community. They will be retiring the jersey of Sam, what's his name? Sam Swade's name? What's Sam's name? Shade, I can't remember. But anyway, Sam Shade, and he's a 1991 graduate of Winona High School, also played for the University of Alabama. He is currently the head football coach at Miles College. He played 8 seasons in the NFL for the Cincinnati Bengals and Washington Redskins. Counselor Woods will be playing Huffman, so if you want to come on over and join us at the Winona field, we'll be glad to have you, but that retiring is on Thursday, September 26th. Then on Friday, September 27th, I'm excited to host our annual Chat and Chew with our neighborhood presidents. This year's theme is a community building resilience together. And so we'll be meeting and bringing various information for our neighborhood presidents. Then on Saturday, September 28th, the Industrial Center Neighborhood Fun Day will be from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And those are my announcements. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilor Abbott.
Thank you, Mr. President. The first thing I have to tell you is the most important information in Birmingham, which is that on Friday I became a great grandmother. I have a new baby granddaughter presented by her mother, my granddaughter, Ashley, and her husband, Reese. So she was 7 pounds, 7 ounces, and 22 inches long. I don't know whether that means she's going to be tall or what. But now I'll go to the more mundane things of life. The Planning and Zoning Committee meeting is scheduled for tomorrow, Wednesday, September 25th at 3:30 p.m. here in the council chambers. We have one opening on the Birmingham Planning Commission. Deadline for submission is September 30th, and we ask that folks send their resumes to valerie.abbott@birminghamal.gov. Tonight, we have the Redmont Neighborhood Meeting. It begins at 5 o'clock in the auditorium at the Botanical Gardens. And we want to encourage everyone to call 311, or better yet, use the My BHAM 311 app that is available for free to anyone, and you can attach your photos there. And we also ask the residents of District 3 to please continue to visit our website for all of the information that we don't have time to tell you here in our little 3 minutes. So that's www.bhamdistrict3.com. Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome. Councilor Moore.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next Tuesday, we have the Fairmont Neighborhood Association that will be taking place at Mount Carmel Baptist Church, 5110 Cheek Road, Birmingham, Alabama, at 6 p.m. So if you live in the Fairmont neighborhood, please make sure that you check out the Neighborhood Association meeting there. We also have the Community Development Meeting that will be taking place on Tuesday, October 1st at 2 p.m. in the council chambers. All submissions are due by Wednesday, September 25th to terry.chapman@birminghamal.gov. The Birmingham Parks and Recreation Board will be meeting next Wednesday at 9 a.m. At Legion Field. And so please make sure if you have any park concerns or questions that you show up to that meeting. One thing also that I would like to add about the Park and Recreation Board meetings, I know that Commissioner Body had kind of talked to several of us about possibly hosting those different board meetings in different districts, so that, you know, different residents will have an opportunity to attend those meetings, and it'll be more proximate to their neighborhoods, so that they can kind of voice their concerns. And so definitely want to give a shout out to him for that, as well as the rest of the board, and just, you know, kind of tell everybody to be on the lookout for it. So that is that. And then last but not least, I wanted to just give a shout out to Mr. Eldridge Knighton over in the Dr. Reverend Morrell Todd Holmes. It's a long name. He's the resident council president. He was nominated for president with the most outstanding work in his or her community for the Narsau Hall of Fame. And so let me see if I can pull up what Narsau means, because I don't. Oh, okay. National Alliance of Resident Services in Affordable and Assisted Housing. And so just wanted to give him a big shout out, for the work that he's doing over there. And didn't want to go without acknowledging him. And I'm sorry, I lied. Last but not least, for real, last week I did not get a chance to give a shout out to my wife for celebrating her birthday. It was on last Friday, so definitely want to say happy belated to her. She got a chance to go on a trip that she was supposed to go on last year, but we had a kid, so she got a chance to go this year. So shout out to her, and then also happy birthday to my godmother that's coming up on the 26th, Belinda Whopper. So love y'all. That's it.
Thank you, Councilor Moore. Councilor Clark.
Thank you, Mr. President. District 8 announcements, neighborhood meetings. The Bush Hills neighborhood will meet today at 6:30 in the Bush Hills Connection Complex at the Woodrow Wilson School, the former Woodrow Wilson School. A special feature of today's meeting is that 1 hour before that meeting at 5:30, there will be a historic preservation workshop explaining the significance of Bush Hills' recent addition to the National Register of Historic Places. The City Historic Preservation Officer will be out in the neighborhood to facilitate that workshop. Please note that the 5 Points West Community Meeting will be this Thursday at 6 p.m. in the West Precinct Community Room. You can visit the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute during this season of Hispanic Heritage Celebration to view the Bare Hands, Inc. Dia de la Muertos exhibit from September 4th through October 15th. Day of the Dead is a beautiful and joyful way to remember dearly departed loved ones and celebrate the life each of us is given. The exhibition at BCRI includes a tribute to George Floyd, Elijah McCain, and others. Visit Birmingham Civil Rights Institute, their website, bcri.org, to buy your tickets. Also, the Birmingham Museum of Art and Birmingham City Schools have teamed up to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with a student artist exhibition entitled, my Spanish again, Colores de la Cultura, art inspired by Hispanic culture. All BCS students in grades 8 through 12 are invited to submit their creations by October 7th. For more information, go to facebook.com/BHM Escuelas, ESCUELAS. Also, Fiesta is this weekend in Lynn Park, starting early in the morning and going most of the day. I'm sorry, I don't have more details, but look it up. Big Hispanic celebration in our community, Fiesta. Be sure to join us for Blues in the Ballpark. This is our second annual attempt at a blues festival to celebrate indigenous soul music. It's going to happen at Rickwood Field on October 5th from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. We'll have performances from District 8's own Miss Johnny and the Jammers opening us up. Several other regional artists and headliner Soul's Blues crooner Johnny Rawls is going to be our headliner. And this event is free and open to the public, so bring your lawn chairs and be prepared to have a good time. If you're looking for a fun way to get active and meet your neighbors, join us every Thursday morning, weather permitting, for a walk around the Crossplex. We start at 8 a.m. We meet up at the Starbucks, and we've been at it for a while. So we had a little break during the hot weeks when I was traveling a lot, but we're back at it. The temperatures are a little more merciful at 8 a.m. So come and enjoy a stroll with us and start the day with some active movement. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilor Moore, you had an addition?
Yeah, I got a text from my wife that said that I forgot somebody to shout out. My son, he's actually having his first birthday on Thursday as well. So, right. Remy Ali, we love you. And yeah, just celebrate him.
Awesome. Lots of September birthdays. Kim Phillips, who works in my office, is celebrating her birthday today, so she's got the day off. So try not to have too much fun, Kim. All right. For District 5, as Councilor Williams has already announced, Fountain Heights Neighborhood Association meets tonight at 6 p.m. Crestwood North Neighborhood Association meets tonight at 6:30 p.m. at Girls Inc. The Transportation Infrastructure Committee will meet again on Monday, October 14th at 2 p.m. in the council chambers. Items can be submitted to the agenda by contacting Kimberly Phillips at kimberlyphillips@birminghamal.gov. Want to just say thank you to all the folks who came out to the Safe Summer Series concert at Legion Field on Sunday night. That was an event that was a collaboration between myself and Councilor Tate. We had a tremendous number of people show up, and it was a great time. Just want to reiterate my thanks to all of the city employees who helped make that happen. We can't, do those types of things without support from the police department, Birmingham Fire and Rescue, the Public Works Department, Parks and Recreation. Many thanks to all of you for the role that you play in helping, bring these, make these events possible for our citizens. All right, okay. The Birmingham Land Bank Authority will be hosting an estate planning workshop named Creating Your Will and Preserving Your Wealth. During this event, they review everything a person needs to know about writing and executing a will. So that estate planning workshop will be Thursday, September 26th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Boutwell Auditorium. This event is free to the public. And Councilor Clark, the date for Fiesta is this Saturday, and it's from noon to 8 p.m. right out in front of City Hall in Lynn Park. And my wife wanted me to mention, so my wife is now the farmer at Glen Iris Elementary for Jones Valley Teaching Farm, and she wants me to let everybody know that the chimney swifts are roosting in the incinerator chimney at Glen Iris Elementary. So if you want to see one of nature's wonders, just show up around 6:45 and you can see about 2,000 birds plunging down the chimney to roost every night until they decide to head south. So, all right.
The incinerator is not working anymore.
Right, yeah. I think Glen Iris the school was built in the 1920s, and they've long since ceased using the incinerator there. So, in any case, that's it. And Councilor Abbott.
I forgot one thing. At the Crestwood South neighborhood meeting last night, I guess this is for the Joint Chiefs of Staff, they were mentioning that the Trinity Hospital is beginning to look like Caraway, and they were wondering if the city has any control over people allowing their properties to be vandalized and turned into things that look like Caraway used to look before it was demolished.
I want to make sure I'm understanding the question. Is it about Caraway or is it about people's?
No,
other
Caraway's gone now. It's been bulldozed. This is Trinity, the old
about
Trinity on
Trinity.
Montclair Road, and this is the Crestwood South neighborhood, and it's being vandalized, and now the windows are all broken out, and it looks like Caraway did. And they're upset about it because the developer deceived them and said that there would be security on the property all the time to keep it from turning into a Caraway, but clearly either something happened to his security service or he didn't tell the truth. But the city, once again, is left with a white elephant, albatross. It's dead, but we're left with it. And I'm sure that my fellow Crestwood South representative has noticed it because he actually lives near it.
So to Ms. Abbott's point, not only is there an issue with the vandalism and then a large group of unhoused people coming through there and doing whatever one does in an old hospital, but there also is issues with our enforcement around the construction process that we need to tighten up over there. It's the construction subcontractors are letting cement fall off the cement trucks because they're not properly disposing them, and it's getting on our streets. There's a large amount of mud and that is clogging all the drains over there because there's, I guess, it's not being properly taken care of. So if we could get some enforcement out there on both from a BPD front, making sure that we don't have people that aren't supposed to be over there, but also from, I guess, would it be PEP? Who would handle construction enforcement?
So, Councilor Abbott, Councilor Williams, to both your points, yes. There's a certain level of follow-up that needs to be done with the Office of the City Attorney based on actions we're taking as a city. But to your question is yes, around both the enforcement, we're doing a lean in on both of those.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other thing that the resident says is that the concrete trucks and the 18-wheelers are driving through the residential neighborhood streets, including Claremont, and when they try to turn onto 52nd, it doesn't work. And they run over people's property and destroy it, but also their concrete oozes out of their concrete trucks and sticks to the pavement. And of course, no one cleans anything up. So the residents are pretty irritated that there's no follow-through by the people who are supposed to be doing follow-through, both on the contractor side and the city side. So they got inspired after when they were almost ready to go.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. We're doing a lean in now. We'll be providing some follow-up updates. Thank you for the visibility, councilors.
Attorney King, did you have anything to add to that?
Chief Sparks stated it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council Williams, you had something else you wanted to speak to?
Oh, well, you and Ms. Clark kind of took care of it. It was about Fiesta. We're giving another scholarship away this year. It's going to be $2,500 to a Birmingham City School student. They had to write a 500-word essay and do a 90-second video and some other stuff. And it's always, it's not just a really hot Saturday afternoon. Just kids get scholarships, and so it's exciting for the families when the kids get a scholarship, because it's kind of like a head start before they even get to the new school that they're going to. But anyway, y'all already announced it. Thanks.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Pro Tem Alexander.
Yes, thank you. Just for the record, Gregory texted me. He said, "Mom, I'm 41, so happy birthday, Gregory." Thank you.
It's his birthday, but it's your birthing day.
Thank you.
Well, time flies, doesn't it?
All right, Mr. Clerk, we have a few people who signed up for our speakers list.
Yes, Teresa Coleman, Robert Banks, Lawrence Phillips.
Good morning, council. How's everybody doing? My name is Lawrence Bills. I'm FOP Vice President, Lodge 1, Birmingham. Of course, I lost some of my colleagues. The meeting ran so long, but we just had a few things that we wanted to put out and say, you know. I just got a short message. Today, we come like other members of the city mourning the loss and injuries of so many of our young people. The members of the Birmingham Police Department are here to show support for the community. We're also here to ask for full support of our elected officials. The police department plays an essential role in fixing this city's problems with crime, but we need support from all three levels of our government to do so. We asked our elected officials from Washington to provide us with the equipment and technology we so desperately need to fight the plague of violence that had come to our great city. We ask our elected officials in Montgomery to stop criticizing and offering temporary band-aids on an open sore that they help create and go to work and fix it. The gun laws in the state are atrocious and have wreaked havoc on the most vulnerable citizens of this state. So we ask, please be helpful in working, fixing the problem that you have created. To the elected officials of the city of Birmingham, we ask that you fully support us in this fight for the soul of our city. We ask that you give us the raises and equipment that we need to help put boots back on the ground to face the scourge elements of the city. We need to be able to recruit against the cities in this region to make this happen. And to do this, we must be able to be on an even ground with the departments, not only in the metro area, but also nationally. And for the citizens of the great city of Birmingham, Alabama, we dedicate ourselves to your protection and quality of life. The men and women of the Birmingham Police Department, many of them are citizens themselves, and so they have a vested interest in the well-being and the safety of the community. We ask for your help in stopping the needless harm that is done to so many of our citizens. We ask that you if you see something, report it. You are our eyes and ears, and we depend on you. In closing, I say we stand on this battlefield as one, shoulder to shoulder, letting the criminals know we won't be intimidated or run off. But everyone must be willing participants to bring back some normalcy and peace to our streets. It's time to take our streets back, and the men and the women of the Birmingham Police Department are standing here ready to do so. But we do need the full support of our elected officials. Thank you.
Thank you, Officer Billups. We appreciate you. Council Williams.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank
Mr.
you,
Billups.
Mr. Billups, for being here. Thank you for the officers that that sat through this long meeting and your support, even the ones that had to go. Your support of what Mr. Billups is saying is noted. I think everything that you said was very well expressed, especially there was one sentence that you said that everyone must be a willing participant. I know you're calling on not only elected officials, but for everybody to be a willing participant. I think that your colleagues know, I think that hopefully the majority of the city knows that the police department is not going to be able to singularly solve issues. There's legislative needs, but there's also needs of our neighbors that live to the left and right of us to say something if they know something, especially if it's something that is egregious. And I just want to reiterate, thank you for your leadership and thank you for all that everyone in a uniform does, whether they're, whether that they're here right now or whether that they're part of our, the rest of and our colleagues that might not wear a blue uniform, but might be Birmingham Fire or dispatchers that have to also deal with the things that all of the first responders deal with. So your leadership does not ever go unnoticed, and but the FOP does not. And thank you all for what you do.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Pro Tem Alexander.
Yes, thank you very much for bringing this to us this morning. I hope you all feel that you have the support that you need from the 9 of us and the mayor. And I just thank you for your service. I know you retired, you came back to the force, and so we thank you for what you do, and thank you for the young officers out there as well. We just couldn't live here in the city of Birmingham without people like you serving and protecting us. But as you said, it's not only is it a legislative duty of those of us who are sitting here, but it's also a duty of those of us who live here to speak up, say something, and be a part of this as well. So thank you. Appreciate you.
Anybody else? All right. So in that vein, I want to thank our officers on duty. As always, Cedric Pinkert, who's in here, City Hall. We also have with us this morning Officer Jones and Officer Oldham from South Precinct. And I want you guys to know that we truly appreciate you. It's a special kind of person who, when most of us experience something that we run away from, the people in uniform do the opposite. They run towards and address the problem. That takes a special kind of person. And I just can't express how much we appreciate you guys for what you do. And it goes above and beyond just being a job. It's a calling. It takes a special kind of person to, do that work. And you guys are sincerely appreciated. We advocate for our first responders all of the time. I can't tell you how many countless conversations that we've had about supporting our police department in particular. Everything from pay raises to equipment to the take-home vehicle program. These are conversations that date back years. And, I just want you to know we have your back. So, thank you.
How many years on that take-home car program?
I know
Many
since
years.
1991.
I know the
Many
answer.
years.
The one that 2017 when I got elected.
Yeah, go back to 1991, so.
Dang, I was 5. I can't help you.
We ain't gonna go there.
Come on, man.
All right, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Officer Billings and I have a lot of great conversations, so he knows my position
Yes, ma'am.
in all of this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Moore.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Did also want to just remind, all my colleagues on the council that we have until September 26th to voice our concerns about Senate Bill 3 with the Alabama League of Municipalities. And so for those of you who don't know, this bill would authorize the Attorney General and or our governor to appoint an interim police chief of certain municipal police departments. This bill would also provide procedures and requirements for a municipality with an interim police chief as well. And so I know that that's not something that, we in the city of Birmingham would like to have happen, nor would we like to see that. And so just want to make sure that we are fully aware that we have until the 26th to voice our concerns in opposition to that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Moore. Councilor Smithman?
No, just, I was telling him thank you for that reminder, because there's also other stuff in the bill I can't remember that's not beneficial to the city at all. It's like maritime law. You coming in, and I think Mayor Wolfen just said, take civilians to deal with non-civilian disputes, but I thank you for what you do. I meant what I said earlier. Any support you need, we're here for you.
Thank you. We're also, FOP is also looking at that bill, and we're gonna have conversations with the state also about that.
Good.
All right?
Okay. All right.
Wait a minute, before you're, I missed it, but I have to say happy alumni, Ramsey High School this week. That's, I got my Ramsey shirt because I was copying off of Madam Protein when she here for We Know Them, but happy alumni week, Ramsey High School.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned.
in the commemoration of the school's integration and the Trailblazers' 60th anniversary. These 4 pioneers, as has already been said, left Immaculata High School, 2 seniors and 2 juniors. Now, if you've heard, my father was a school teacher right down the road at Winona High School. I can just imagine if my parents had come to me and said, Wardine, you're going to have to leave Winona High School as a senior or a junior, and you're going to become a trailblazer. You're going to change the face of this particular school, and you're going to become a part of history for the city of Birmingham. So today, I honor each of you. You've heard the words courage, resilience, obedience, and of course, we've seen this in the life and the works of these 4 individuals.
There was the responsibility that integration and civil rights brought with it. For those who were first, integration brought responsibility. High school wasn't just high school. Every day it was a litmus test.
We gave John Carroll a way forward in the civil rights movement. Once we walked through those doors, there was no turning back. John Carroll had committed to integration. John Carroll had committed to diversity.
When you were first, integration often meant you were lonely. When you were first, integration meant that there was rarely anyone in the class with you who looked like you. When you were first, integration meant you couldn't play sports with the others. When you were first, integration meant you couldn't be a cheerleader. When you were first, there were so many things you couldn't be or do, but there were so many things that you had to do and had to be. When you were first, you had to be a good example so that those coming behind you, like me, would benefit from your sacrifice. When you were first, you had to represent people within your ethnicity you didn't even know. When you were first, you had to have a good temperament, even when people thought they could hurt you by zinging you with that N-word. When you were first, you had to be a good example to others for those who would come behind you, because when you were first, you were paving the way for those coming behind you, those who would come in 65 and 66 and now in 2024. They would benefit from your sacrifice because you had a role to play.
When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it, for there is always light. If only you're brave enough to see it, if only you are brave enough to be it.
Therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Birmingham, with Mayor Randall L. Woodfin concurring, pauses in our deliberations to congratulate these 4 individuals along with John Carroll Catholic High School who made it happen. We applaud their efforts to represent and uplift their community and advance the cause of the civil rights movement. Their fingerprint and legacy remain, opening the door for others to walk through. This is presented today by my recommendation as Council President Pro Tem of the Birmingham City Council. We thank you all, and we are so blessed to have you as members of our community and being the trailblazers that you've been. Thank you so much.
Last week, I had the pleasure of graduating from the University of Chicago Crime Lab Community Violence Intervention Leadership Academy, known as CBI LA.
Miss LaTanya Tate.
"31 amazing people, HOTEP 31, from across 22 states. So I just want to thank Dr. Tillman for investing in me and believing in Birmingham, Alabama, that we're going to curb gun violence.
With these innovative minds, we are creating a legacy
a legacy for CVI work. We making history, y'all. This is gonna be history.
So again, as I often say, it's going to take a collective of us to reduce the violence in our communities. And we're going to stand up Birmingham, the magic city, the resilient city of what it is. So once again, I want to congratulate my cohort, Dr. Chico Tillman, for believing in me and letting me be a part of this cohort.
We salute you, we thank you, and welcome to the CVI LA alumni. Thank you.